This is Tom Meyer, the Bellevue Community School District Superintendent, and this is the Believe in the Blue update for the week of March 25th. Today is, had to check the calendar there. A few things going on this week you may want to be aware of, and things that have been going on. The track season is underway. There's an indoor track meet at Cornell College. It's the River Valley Conference track meet, and that is on Thursday at 4:30 at Cornell. As amazing as it sounds, since we just had snow the other day, there is actually a golf meet scheduled for Monday, March 30th, and that is scheduled to be at North Cedar. I do not have any word on it being canceled yet or anything like that. From what I hear over the weekend, it is supposed to warm up some, so that's a positive. There's an outdoor track meet scheduled for Tuesday, March 2nd, and that will also include the Tuesday, April 2nd. That will include the boys and girls teams, and the girls are actually at Northeast, and the boys are at Northeast. And then next Thursday, the boys are at Edgewood Colesburg for a track meet, and the girls are at Comanche. But Saturday, April 4th, in addition to that, that is over break, but a soccer team with Marquette Catholic has a game at Clinton, the Clinton tournament. So a lot of things starting to go on here. And just a reminder for everyone, our last day of school next week is on Wednesday, April 1st. We have the 2nd, 3rd, the Thursday and Friday, the 4th and 5th, Saturday and Sunday, and then the 6th off, and then 7th is off for everyone except for teachers. They will be in on the 7th that way. So just so you know, I'm making plans for next week and the beginning of the following week that way. A few other things, just want to make people aware. Some of you saw in the local newspaper, the Bellevue Herald Leader, that the Bellevue schools are ranked one of the top schools in the state of Iowa. We're ranked number 25 out of roughly 300 and some districts that way. Just so you're aware, that is a great accomplishment for our students and everyone involved with our students. So it's a real positive that way. I also went to a school board meeting with several of our school board members in the last week, and just going to share a few things there that I thought were interesting. What I found out talking to school board members from across the nation and superintendents from across the nation and other people just in general interested in education, we're doing a lot of the right things right now. We are moving beyond the testing that is simply fill in the blank and the testing that is just memorizing information. Those things, while some of that stuff is important and you need to know, you also need to be able to know how to apply that or why that is important. It's, World War II, for example, 1941 to 1945. Some people would say it actually started in 1939. U.S. got involved in 1941. So, okay, if you know that date and that is important, and I'm not saying that's not important, but why is World War II important? Why was that important? You talk about the different conflicts we've had from the Vietnam War, the Korean War, Korean conflict, World War I, Persian Gulf War, all these different things. Why are these important and what did we learn from these? And that is the point. It's not just to know the date or where they happen at, but why are they important? And that's one thing that we're really looking at more and more. Technology is always one of those questions. There are some amazing technological advancements out there that have changed education, changed our life, changed my life as a personal life, and changed many of your lives personally. A cell phone, the one speaker joked about, we call it a phone yet, but when's the last time you got a phone call from a teenager? Have to chuckle a little bit about that. That's somewhat true. It's used for anything but a phone in some ways. It's used as a fitness tracker, as it can be used as a level, it can be used as a barometer, it can be used as a multitude of different things, and actually using it to talk on is not one of the main things it's used for anymore. In fact, the person's presenting said probably for every one time an adult uses a smartphone, you're using it 12 other times at a minimum for something else first. So very interesting in that respect. Now let's talk about the impact on education. What is cheating? Is cheating using your resources that are out there and finding an answer? That's life. We all do that on a daily basis. And that's one thing we need to work on here as a district is that, if the information's out there, let people get the information, but how are they applying information? Do they know that information? That is a key component to look at that way. And we need to really concentrate on what are we offering in the Bellevue schools that is not offered anywhere else, that I can't get from some other resources out there. What am I being asked to do that's going to have a positive impact on me in the future and life in general, society in general in the future? One thing we also talk about is college ready. We have a graduate rate of well above the state average that will be released next week. I do have the information, but that is embargoed by the state of Iowa until March 30th, I believe. But our graduation rate is very high. It's significantly higher than the state of Iowa, and the state of Iowa is higher than the nation that way. So that's a real positive. We've had 100% to the last 4 years that way, and that's great. We're getting people through high school and getting ready for their careers, whether that means going to college directly, a 2-year, 4-year training school, or whether that's going on to employment right away. One thing that we really need to look at here, and we're going to be spending some time on based on some information I received nationally, college retention rate. Just because a student goes to college, do they stay in college? Some information was passed on to me. A 2-year college retention rate is only 55%. That means the dropout rate is 45%. And 4-year college retention rate is 65%, which means the dropout rate is 35%. We need to make sure that we're graduating students who are prepared for college if they're going to college, prepared for work, whatever the case is. And we need to also make sure that they do not need extra assistance when they get into college that is beyond the norm that way. And we need to make sure we're preparing our students in general for college. I'm going to tell you a couple quick apps you may want to check out. I shared this with our music department. It's called Ocarina. It's a wind instrument that you literally play. I'm not going to play it, but you play it on your phone. You hold your phone up and you blow into the microphone and you play it. It's called Ocarina, Ocarina. Pretty amazing. I did download it on my phone, and I'm not a musical genius that way, but it is amazing. It's a musical instrument. Once again, the phone is more than simply a phone that we would traditionally think of. They also talked about Wolfram Alpha. You type in a math problem, type in a question, it'll give you an answer that way. We've all heard of Khan Academy, some tutorials, especially math and science. I encourage all of you to use that. That's KHAN Academy. Another one that I really found interesting was Photomath. You have a phone, you take a picture of your problem, it will go through step by step and solve the problem for you. Once again, a student can use that. The key is to know why it's doing that and how to apply that information. So another one was called Wordlands, and it will translate, for example, Spanish into English in the same background. If I put it up to a piece of paper, it will still put it on the same background, but it will translate the Spanish word into the English word, or English to Spanish, or I think it's Italian, French, and German. It does it for as well. That's called Wordlens. I encourage you to try some of these out. They also talk about the whole aspect of fitness right now, wellness, fitness trackers like watches, things like that. 15 million were sold last year. They're estimating this year 70 million will be sold. Things are changing. Life is changing for everyone, and as the one speaker said, the genie is out of the bottle. You're not going to get the genie back in. Whether we like all of technology or any of technology or not, it's here to stay, and it's going to keep progressing and keep growing no matter what. So those are just a few things, but I did want to talk to you a little bit about that way. I think it's also important to know that a couple other bits of information. School start date. We have developed a schedule for August 24th start date. There is some controversy if that will be an allowable start date or not. I believe that may be one of the compromises that comes up that will be at the next board meeting to potentially start on August 24th. We developed that with some other local schools. The Athletic Boosters Ribeye Steak Supper will be on Saturday, April 11th. That way, that'll be at Horizon Hall. And also at Horizon Hall on April 18th is prom. For any of you interested in knowing that and recognizing that the riverfront that afternoon will be busy with people taking pictures, I'm sure. Hopefully it's a great day. Hopefully the weather warms up from what it is today. But basically, one final thing here, state funding, discussion that way from the state of Iowa, the legislature. It is important that schools are funded appropriately, not excessively, but appropriately. We're in a decent financial shape right now in the Bellevue District, but that can change very quickly with the lack of resources coming in. So I would encourage any of you to contact legislators or legislators and let them know of the importance of schools for the general public, for your kids, and for their future, for our community's future, our society's future, the state's future, whatever the case is. So if you have any questions, once again, please feel free to contact the school at any time. Number here, the central office is 563-872-4913. The elementary office is 872-4003, and the middle school, high school office is 872-4001. And hope everyone has a great week, and I'll talk to all of you next week. Thank you very much.